Did you know that over 40% of the actions you take every single day are not conscious choices, but habits? Think about that for a second. Almost half of your life is running on autopilot. Now here's the real question. What if those automatic habits are silently sabotaging your success? Because let's be honest, sometimes it's not lack of talent, not lack of opportunity, and not even bad luck that keeps us stuck. It's the habits we've built, often without realizing it, that keep us trapped in the same cycles. Today, I'm taking on the challenge to kick out 7 deadly habits from my life. Habits that quietly drain energy, focus, and potential, and replace them with unstoppable ones. And this isn't just theory. This is me challenging myself to see if I can truly transform by breaking these destructive patterns and building habits that push me toward my best life. Ask yourself right now, are your habits building you or breaking you? Are they setting you up for success or pulling you further away from it? Because the truth is, success doesn't just come from massive breakthroughs. It comes from the small things you do every single day, repeated over weeks, months, and years. That's why your habits matter more than you think. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're gonna see exactly which 7 deadly habits you must remove and what unstoppable habits you can replace them with to change your entire direction in life. Let's dive in. We all dream of becoming unstoppable, of living a life where challenges don't crush us, where setbacks don't define us, and where we keep moving forward no matter what. But here's the truth most people don't want to face. Being unstoppable isn't about motivation. It's about the habits you live by. Your habits are like silent architects. They shape your mornings, your mindset, your energy, and ultimately, your destiny. The problem is, most of us don't choose our habits consciously. They're built over time, often by comfort, laziness, or fear. And that's why so many people feel stuck. Think about it. You might have all the knowledge, skills, and even opportunities. But if your habits pull you in the wrong direction, success will always feel out of reach. On the other hand, even if you start with very little, but your habits are strong and empowering, they can carry you to levels you never imagined. That's why this video isn't about simply working harder or believing in yourself. It's about looking closely at the patterns you repeat every single day and asking, are these habits helping me rise or are they dragging me down? The idea of 7 deadly habits is powerful because these are the habits millions of people struggle with without even realizing it. They're so common, so normal, that most people accept them as just part of life. But what if those very habits are the chains keeping you from breaking through? And the good news? Habits can be replaced. You don't have to stay stuck in cycles that don't serve you. With awareness, intention, and consistency, you can swap out destructive habits for ones that build momentum, resilience, and unstoppable energy. So in this journey, we're not just identifying what's holding us back. We're going to actively replace each deadly habit with one that pushes us forward. Because it's not enough to just stop bad habits. You must give yourself a stronger, better alternative. By the end of this video, you'll see how replacing just one of these habits can shift your entire mindset. And if you commit to all 7, you'll become unstoppable. Here's the harsh reality. Most people don't fail because they aren't smart enough, strong enough, or talented enough. They fail because of the small, hidden habits that quietly chip away at their potential every single day. It's death by 1,000 cuts. Think about the habits you've carried for years. Hitting snooze every morning, scrolling endlessly on your phone, procrastinating when it matters most, doubting yourself before you even begin. These may seem small in the moment, but repeated over months and years, they add up to a life of regret. The challenge is, these habits feel safe, they feel comfortable, and in a way, they even feel normal. Everyone procrastinates, right? Everyone wastes time, right? That's the trap. Because when destructive habits become normal, they blind us to what we're losing. It's not just about wasted time, it's about wasted potential. Every bad habit steals a little bit of your energy, a little bit of your confidence, a little bit of your momentum. Until one day, you wake up wondering why success always feels out of reach. The truth is, you can't build an unstoppable life on a foundation of weak habits. It's like trying to run a race with weights tied to your ankles. You'll never move at the speed you're capable of. This is the problem so many people face. They want to change their life, but they try to do it while still clinging to the same old destructive habits. That's like trying to fill a bucket that's full of holes. It doesn't matter how much effort you pour in, it will always leak out. And that's why this challenge matters. Because identifying these 7 deadly habits is the first step to taking back control. If you don't know what's holding you back, you'll keep fighting the wrong battles. But once you see the habits clearly, you can make the choice to replace them, and that's when transformation begins. So here's the challenge I'm putting in front of myself, and in front of you. Let's stop pretending these habits don't matter. Let's face them head on, call them out for what they are, and then take the power back by replacing them with habits that make us unstoppable. Deadly habit number 1, procrastination. Procrastination is one of the most silent killers of dreams. On the surface, it feels harmless. I'll just do it tomorrow. I'll start when I'm ready. I'll wait for the perfect time. But here's the truth. Procrastination doesn't just delay action. It delays growth, it delays opportunities, and it delays the life you're meant to live. The reason procrastination is so deadly is because it disguises itself as comfort. When you put something off, you feel temporary relief. You tell yourself, I'll deal with it later. And in that moment, the pressure lifts. But that relief comes at a heavy cost. The cost of progress, momentum, and self-trust. Yes, self-trust. Every time you procrastinate, you're sending yourself a message. I don't keep promises to myself. Over time, that builds into guilt, shame, and self-doubt. And once you stop trusting yourself, it becomes harder to believe you can achieve anything big. Think about the opportunities you've already lost to procrastination. The projects you never started. The conversations you avoided. The skills you delayed learning. How different would your life look right now if you had acted in those moments instead of waiting? The truth is, there will never be a perfect time. Waiting for the stars to align is just another excuse. The perfect time is always now, because action itself creates clarity, momentum, and opportunities that you can't see while standing still. So how do you replace procrastination? With the habit of immediate action. Train yourself to take the first small step the moment you feel resistance. If you think of sending that email, send it. If you think of starting that workout, start it. If you think of making that call, make it. Don't negotiate with your brain, because the longer you wait, the louder the excuses get. It doesn't have to be massive action at first. In fact, small actions are the secret. Write for 5 minutes, do 1 push-up, read 1 page. The moment you start, your brain shifts gears from avoidance to momentum. And momentum is everything. Imagine a life where you didn't wait, where every time you thought of something important, you acted on it immediately. How much further ahead would you be 1 year from now if procrastination no longer held you hostage? That's the unstoppable habit you need. Action over hesitation, movement over delay. Deadly habit number 2, negative self-talk. One of the most destructive habits people carry isn't something visible like procrastination or laziness. It's the silent war happening inside their own heads. Negative self-talk. That constant inner voice that whispers, "You're not good enough. You'll fail. Why even try?" The danger of negative self-talk is that it doesn't just affect how you feel. It shapes what you believe you're capable of. If you repeat to yourself often enough that you're not smart enough, strong enough, or worthy enough, you'll start living as if it's true, even if reality says otherwise. This habit is deadly because it builds invisible walls around your potential. You stop applying for opportunities because you've already convinced yourself you'll fail. You hold back in conversations because you think your words don't matter. You settle for less because your inner critic told you that's all you deserve. But here's the truth. Your inner critic is a liar. That voice in your head isn't a reflection of your reality. It's a reflection of your fears, your doubts, and the old conditioning you've carried from the past. And if you let it go unchecked, it becomes your biggest enemy. Think about how much progress you've lost, not because others doubted you, but because you doubted yourself. How many times have you killed your own dreams before they even had a chance to grow? The replacement habit here is empowering self-talk. That doesn't mean lying to yourself or pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing words that fuel you instead of words that break you. When that negative voice says, "You can't," you replace it with, "I will figure it out." When it says, "You're not ready," you replace it with, "I'm ready enough to begin." At first, it will feel unnatural. You'll catch yourself slipping into negativity. But here's the shift. You don't have to believe the negative voice. You don't have to obey it. Start treating it like background noise and then consciously choose a stronger narrative. Imagine living with a voice in your head that encouraged you instead of tearing you down. A voice that said, "Keep going, you're closer than you think," instead of, "You'll never make it." That's not just positive thinking. It's rewiring your mindset to unlock your full potential. Because if your inner voice becomes your greatest ally instead of your biggest enemy, you'll move through life with unshakable confidence. That's the unstoppable habit you need. Self-belief over self-doubt. Deadly habit number 3, lack of discipline. If procrastination steals your time and negative self-talk steals your confidence, then lack of discipline steals your future. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievements. Without it, dreams remain dreams, just ideas floating in your head that never become reality. The reason lack of discipline is so deadly is because it feels like freedom in the short term. You skip the workout because you don't feel like it. You eat the junk food because it's easier. You binge the show instead of working on your project because it's more comfortable. In the moment, it feels like you're giving yourself a break. But in the long run, you're building chains. Every time you let your feelings dictate your actions, you give away control of your future. Success doesn't care about how you feel. It rewards consistency, effort, and persistence. Discipline is what allows you to show up even when you don't feel like it. And that's exactly why the most successful people often aren't the most talented. They're simply the most disciplined. Think about it. How many times have you set a goal, started strong for a few days, and then slowly let it slip away because you weren't disciplined enough to keep going? That's not a lack of ability. It's a lack of structure and self-control. The replacement habit is self-discipline through systems. Stop relying on motivation, because motivation comes and goes. Instead, build routines, structures, and habits that make discipline automatic. Schedule your priorities, set alarms, use accountability. Create an environment where discipline is easier than distraction. At first, discipline feels like restriction, but over time you realize discipline is actually freedom. Freedom from regret, freedom from wasted time, freedom from living a life that's less than what you know you're capable of. Imagine the difference between a person who only works when they feel motivated versus someone who works consistently, no matter how they feel. One gets occasional bursts of progress, the other builds unstoppable momentum. Which one do you think achieves their goals? That's the unstoppable habit you need. Discipline over desire. Because if you can master discipline, you can achieve anything, even the things that once felt impossible. Deadly habit number 4, living in the past. One of the most subtle but deadly habits that keeps people stuck is living in the past. Whether it's clinging to old mistakes, replaying regrets, or holding on to past pain, this habit keeps you anchored in a place you can never change. And when your eyes are always looking backward, you miss the opportunities right in front of you. The past has power only if you keep giving it power. Maybe you failed before. Maybe you were hurt. Maybe you made choices you're not proud of. But if you keep carrying those memories like a heavy backpack, how can you ever move forward? You're exhausting yourself trying to live today while dragging yesterday behind you. The problem with living in the past is that it tricks you into believing that history will always repeat itself. If you failed once, you start to believe you'll always fail. If someone betrayed you, you start to believe no one can be trusted. Your future gets painted with the colors of your past, even if reality has changed. But here's the truth. The past is a lesson, not a life sentence. Every mistake taught you something. Every setback shaped you. Every wound built strength you didn't know you had. The problem isn't the past itself. It's refusing to let it stay where it belongs. The replacement habit here is living in the present while learning from the past. That means you take the lesson, but you drop the weight. You use yesterday as a teacher, not a prison guard. You remind yourself, I am not who I was. I am who I choose to be today. Living in the present doesn't mean ignoring the past. It means you acknowledge it, but you don't let it control you. You recognize your mistakes, but you don't chain yourself to them. You honor your pain, but you don't let it define your future. Imagine the freedom you'd feel if you stopped replaying old regrets and started focusing on the opportunities in front of you right now. How much lighter would your life feel if you finally set down that heavy backpack of yesterday? That's the unstoppable habit you need, presence over the past. Because when you stop living in old chapters, you finally give yourself the chance to write new ones. Deadly habit number 5, fear of failure. If there's one habit that quietly kills more dreams than anything else, it's the fear of failure. Most people don't fail because they aren't capable. They fail because they never even try. Fear keeps them stuck at the starting line, paralyzed by the possibility that things might go wrong. The danger of this habit is that it disguises itself as caution or being realistic. You tell yourself, I'll wait until I'm fully ready, or I don't want to waste my time if it doesn't work. But underneath those excuses is fear. Fear of being embarrassed, fear of losing, fear of not being good enough. Here's the truth. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every person you admire, athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, failed dozens of times before they ever succeeded. The only difference is they refuse to let failure define them. When you let fear of failure control you, you lock yourself inside a comfort zone that slowly becomes a cage. You never push your limits. You never test your potential. And as time passes, regret begins to feel heavier than any failure ever could. The replacement habit is courageous action despite fear. Courage doesn't mean you stop being afraid. It means you act anyway. It means you reframe failure as feedback, not a final judgment. Every setback becomes information that makes you stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the next attempt. Start practicing this by deliberately doing small things you fear. Have that uncomfortable conversation. Share your idea. Try that new skill. Each time you act in spite of fear, you weaken its grip and strengthen your resilience. Imagine a life where failure doesn't scare you anymore, where every mistake feels like a stepping stone instead of a dead end. How much more would you attempt? How much faster would you grow? How much closer would you be to your dreams? That's the unstoppable habit you need. Courage over fear. Because when fear no longer controls you, failure becomes your greatest teacher, and success becomes inevitable. Deadly habit number 6, seeking constant approval. One of the most draining and deadly habits is living for the approval of others. On the surface, it seems harmless. You want people to like you. You want validation. You want to fit in. But when your self-worth is tied to what others think, you'll never truly be free. The danger of this habit is that it makes you live someone else's life instead of your own. You start making choices not based on what you want, but on what will get you applause, likes, or acceptance. And slowly, piece by piece, you lose yourself in the process. Think about it. How many times have you held back your true thoughts because you were afraid someone wouldn't agree? How many dreams have you shelved because someone else didn't approve of them? That's not living, that's performing. The truth is, no matter what you do, you'll never please everyone. Some people will always criticize you. Some will always doubt you. Some will never understand you. And if you spend your life chasing their approval, you'll waste it trying to fill a cup that can never be full. The replacement habit here is self-validation. That means giving yourself permission to live the life you want, even if no one claps for you. It means setting your own standards of success, measuring yourself against your own growth, not against the opinions of others. Of course, it's not easy. We're wired to want connection and belonging. But the difference between approval and respect is huge. Approval is fragile. It changes with moods, trends, and opinions. Respect is earned by living authentically, even if not everyone agrees with you. Imagine the freedom of waking up and making decisions based on your values, your dreams, and your goals, not on whether someone else will like it. Imagine the power of knowing that even if people criticize you, it doesn't shake your confidence because you know who you are. That's the unstoppable habit you need. Self-respect over approval seeking. Because when you stop living for the crowd, you finally start living for yourself. And that's when you become truly unstoppable. Deadly habit number 7, lack of consistency. If there's one habit that quietly destroys progress more than anything else, it's lack of consistency. Starting is easy. Getting excited about a new goal is easy. But sticking with it day after day, even when it's boring, even when it's hard, that's where most people fall apart. The danger of inconsistency is that it convinces you that effort doesn't pay off. You start something, give up halfway, then tell yourself, see, it didn't work. But the truth is, it didn't work because you didn't give it enough time to grow. A seed doesn't become a tree overnight. It takes watering, sunlight, and patience. Most people quit right before the results were about to show. They go to the gym for 2 weeks and stop because they don't see instant change. They start a business, face the first setback, and walk away. They build momentum, then let inconsistency wipe it all out. Consistency is the compound interest of success. Small actions, repeated over time, don't just add up, they multiply. 10 minutes of practice every day beats 2 hours of practice once a month. Writing 1 page a day creates a book in a year. Showing up consistently is more powerful than showing up perfectly. The replacement habit here is daily consistency over intensity. That means focusing less on doing everything at once and more on doing a little bit every single day. Create non-negotiables, simple, repeatable actions you commit to no matter what. Yes, there will be days when you don't feel like it. Yes, there will be times when life gets in the way. But consistency isn't about never missing. It's about never quitting. Missing one day is a stumble. Missing a week is a pattern. Decide which one you'll allow. Imagine the difference 1 year from now if you stopped quitting halfway. Imagine the skills you'd build, the habits you'd master, the results you'd finally see if you just kept going long enough. That's the unstoppable habit you need. Consistency over excuses. Because in the end, it's not what you do occasionally that defines you. It's what you do consistently that builds the life you want. Out of all the 7 deadly habits, there's one that acts like the foundation for all the others. If you don't fix this one first, every other habit will eventually collapse. And that habit is lack of consistency. Think about it. You can beat procrastination once, but if you don't stay consistent, it creeps back in. You can silence your negative self-talk for a day, but without consistency, the old voice returns. Discipline, courage, self-respect, all of them are built and maintained only through repetition. Consistency is the glue that holds transformation together. Without it, progress falls apart. With it, even the smallest steps compound into unstoppable momentum. That's why consistency isn't just another habit. It's the foundation of every other habit you want to build. This is the moment where most people fail. They get inspired, they take action for a week or two, and then they stop. They tell themselves it's not working. But the truth is, it was working. They just didn't stay consistent long enough to see the results. So here's the key. If you're serious about becoming unstoppable, start with consistency. Pick one habit, just one, and commit to doing it every single day, no matter what. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for persistence. Because persistence beats perfection every time. And here's the beauty of it. Once you prove to yourself that you can be consistent in one area, it becomes easier to apply it everywhere. You start to trust yourself. You start to believe, if I say I'll do it, I'll do it. That belief is what transforms you into someone unstoppable. So if you're wondering which habit to replace first, don't overthink it. Choose consistency. Consistency will build your discipline. Consistency will silence your doubts. Consistency will turn fear into confidence. Because at the end of the day, talent can fade, motivation can die, but consistency builds legends. So let's take a moment to pull everything together. We started this journey by asking a simple but powerful question. Are your habits building you or breaking you? Because the truth is, your daily habits shape your destiny more than talent, luck, or even opportunity. We uncovered the 7 deadly habits that quietly hold people back. Procrastination, negative self-talk, lack of discipline, living in the past, fear of failure, seeking constant approval, and lack of consistency. Each one seems small on its own, but together they form chains that keep you from living at your full potential. But we didn't just expose the problem, we built the solution. For every deadly habit, there's an unstoppable replacement. Procrastination can be replaced with immediate action. Negative self-talk can be replaced with empowering words. Lack of discipline can be replaced with systems and structure. Living in the past can be replaced with presence. Fear of failure can be replaced with courage. Approval seeking can be replaced with self-respect. And above all, inconsistency can be replaced with persistence. What makes this powerful is that transformation doesn't happen in a single leap. It happens in daily choices. Every time you replace a deadly habit with an unstoppable one, you take back control of your life, one step at a time. And remember, it's not about perfection. You don't need to get all 7 right from day one. You just need to start. Pick one, replace it, and stay consistent. Over time, the unstoppable version of you will emerge, not because you got rid of all your flaws, but because you build habits that refuse to let those flaws control your future. Think about the life you could create if you committed to this. A life where your actions match your ambitions. A life where your past no longer defines you, where fear no longer stops you, and where you no longer need anyone's approval to feel worthy. That's not just success, that's freedom. So here's the truth. Becoming unstoppable isn't about changing who you are. It's about changing what you do every single day. And if you're willing to take that step, your future will be unrecognizable compared to your past. Because the difference between people who stay stuck and people who rise is simple. The unstoppable ones chose better habits.